Hello and welcome to my world of crochet. My name is Dina and today I'm here with you for another yarn talk video. And we cannot talk yarn without me having my faithful mug of tea. And today this tea is a Darjeeling black tea. It's a loose tea blend and I bought it in Germany. The tea itself is from the mountains of the Himalayas. So it is a wonderful black tea. So what have I been up to since last week's yarn talk? One of the things I've been up to is finishing my summer shower bag. I did progress on other projects as well, but not as much as I might have wanted to. I've been busy since last time, basically, because last week, about last week Friday actually, our dishwasher started to say, well, I don't want to wash your dishes. It took in water, it emptied the water, but it wasn't spinning. Basically, it wasn't working. It wasn't washing the dishes. We were trying to fix it. I had to wash some dishes by hand while trying to fix it because the kitchen was a mess. Yeah, it just didn't spin. It's been broken a few times before. We fixed it. Different kind of broken this time. Nope. No real ideas as to how this could be fixed. So the conclusion was every time we spent so much time fixing it, when it's been broken the past year, that maybe it's just broken for good. And that's fair enough. It's came with the house when it was built originally back in the days. So the dishwasher is like, what, 22 years old maybe? It was time for renewal. We bought a new one. We inserted the new one, which is a clever thing. I have a timer on the floor now. I can see how much time is left of the dishes when it's running. That's really neat and nice. Prior, I had to open it to see if there was any time left. It opens itself when it's washed out, so to say, when it's finished. Yeah, it tells you if there's some kind of error. It will say basically like, we've got to turn the water faucet up back on when we had connected it all. And it said, I'm not getting any water. Please fix my water supply. Like, so yeah, clever thing. Need to get used to that, but I'm sure I'm going to be very happy for it. But that took a lot of time. And then we had a social gathering as well, here in the neighborhood. That took some hours as well. And been busy at work, meetings, organizing last working day, planning that, which means that including today, so including the day of today, I have 19 working days left. No, yeah, 19. After today, 18. That's crazy. It's gonna go really, really fast. Technically, in real terms, it's a little bit less than 4 weeks. Crazy, huh? But I finished this lovely bag. I have a little bit of content in it because I did have some extra balls, so that is basically what I keep in it. But here we have it, my summer shopper bag. Nicely made. You only see here where it's kind of sewn together with the strap. It holds a nice bit of mount as well. My only thought is, because when I'm standing with this, and I'm trying to see if I can insert a photo or something, I feel the strap could have been maybe a couple of rows longer, if that makes sense. Well, actually, I'm gonna stand for you. But when I'm having it here, you know, it's okay. But a part of me would have liked it just to hang a few centimeters lower maybe. But I followed the pattern as described, and there was definitely not enough yarn to have done that. Well, there were. Had I broken into another skein. Oh, sorry. Oh. It's been a long day, long week. Because I was playing yarn chicken. So I had 6 balls and this should take 3. And I decided if I like it, I might actually just use the other 3 balls to make a similar bag. That was my thought. And that's still what I might do because I still have the full 3 skeins left. So this is what it took to make this, right? And when I had finished the strap and sewed on the strap, I still needed to do a row of double crochet and a row of slip stitches around each side of the strap. And when I was done, I sewed and ends. This is the yarn I had left. Had there been enough to maybe do 1 or 2 more rows? Yeah, probably. But I tell you, when I started doing those last 2 rows, I was not sure if I had enough yarn. And I had nothing to compare it. I couldn't play yarn chicken with the weight scale. This was just hope that you have enough. And if you don't, break loose another one. I would say I had exactly enough. And I could make an exact copy of this. And I might do that because I still don't know what to use this yarn for. And I do actually like the design of this. What I could consider is maybe making an increase less in the bottom. Therefore, you will use less yarn around and then you have room to maybe make the strap like a little bit longer. And I wonder if that increase in the round in the bottom will make it that much smaller that it's gonna be annoying, noticeable, whatever you would like to say. This is the crossed double stitch that's been used. So in the bottom, it's just half double crochets. And once you finish the bottom and start on the pattern here, all of these, they're crossed double crochets. An absolutely gorgeous and easy stitch to do. It's a 2-stitch repeat. And it's so simple. I will have to probably make a tutorial on the stitch for those that's curious on it. But yeah, as I said, it's a super easy stitch, back, forth, like this. And the inner side looks like this. And here I have to say, I like the outside the better. Gorgeous. Nothing more actually to say that it is just looking gorgeous. Then I did another row of half doubles. I did a row of singles and the row of slip stitches. And the hank here is all made in half doubles as well, all the way around and then sewn together. So like cut the end and leave a long tail so you can sew it together here, which is what I did. Pretty happy with it actually. You can see it's sewn together, but I think the outside here looks better than the inside. The inside is a little bit more like this, where I'm kind of okay with the outside being like this. I wonder if I could have sewn it better together or in a different way. But I'm kind of okay with, you can see how it is and where it's made. What you optionally can choose maybe, and that is also something I've been thinking about, is to make flowers and sew them on if you want to kind of cover up some of it. Like you can make some sort of collage of flowers should you want to sort of cover that up. But at the same time, it's nice, and there's no doubt it's handmade, but it feels really nice. And I'm really happy with how this yarn worked up. Clear stitch definition. So for a value cotton yarn that I definitely would not use for clothing, it worked really nicely in this bag. So yes, I am definitely tempted to make a copy, because, well, I have the yarn and it was an easy make. So that might be what I end up doing. And the question is when I would start doing that. It is a very straightforward one. So it might be another car project for the future, because it is definitely easy to bring with me in the car. I remember this I worked on prior weekend, also in the car. not so the weekend before last weekend, because we had barbecues. We had a barbecue Saturday, we had a barbecue Sunday, we had to drive to both. And both of them were at least a good half an hour's drive. So I was working on it, and you know, I was finishing a row or two or three of the cross double crochets in the car, so that was kind of perfect. Yeah, I think I'm definitely wanting to maybe make an extra here. And I also see this pattern working very well in a shaded kind of cotton. So different colors. I might consider working up that another again in the future, because it was a nice, easy, simple pattern, and I really enjoyed working with this. Yeah, definitely. And it just feels really good, and it feels sturdy also. Advice, summer shopper, there's a link to the pattern down below. It is a free hobby pattern for download. That's it. Then I started on, well, I in the back of this year, in the start of this year, at New Year's, I started on the Fleur Mosaic blanket. Due to all the business I've had, I have not progressed on the Fleur Mosaic blanket. I totally forgot to tell you yarn specs for the yarn for the summer shopper bag. It's different yarns than used on the pattern. It's 100% cotton. I used a 5mm crochet hook with it, so it is a bit similar to the Hobbies 8/8 cotton that I used for this. Quick input. But yeah, the Fleur Mosaic pattern, as mentioned, I did not proceed on it because I was so busy on all the other projects I have. And I was really in the mood to get my summer shopper finished, so I really wanted to do that. Plus we had the dishwasher and everything else. So it was just one of the projects where I did not reach to do any progress. So we are still here at round 40 of 129. Which is still this white. So next row will be in the Bordeaux. And it's gorgeous. And it's probably a project that I will work a lot more on in 19 working days time, because then I have much more time to, over a day, sit down and do a row here and there. But also we are getting to a place where it's difficult for me to have a full row finished for yarn talk, because it takes increasingly longer, and I have all the other projects I'm also working on. And yeah, I'm working with the Stylecraft Special DK yarns here. It's also what's originally used for the pattern. Anke Wintermans is the designer of Fleur. She has a Ravelry account where you can buy a lot of nice mosaic patterns, and she designs these. She also designed them in a range of different colors. I think they're gorgeous. So, and it looks very intimidating, but it's not difficult. And in her pattern, she even has links and suggestions as to where to find tutorials and doing certain methods of stitches and so on. The only stitches I'm using in this is basically single crochet, double crochet, chain, and then like a closing stitch where it's kind of like the seamless join-ish something. And she has description for all of it. I warmly recommend checking her out if you're into mosaic patterns. And in 7 rows we are going to change to red, so a brighter red, and maybe I'll reach that before October, but I'm not sure. It kind of depends on all the other projects, because I also want to make the Lost Souls scarf, skull collector, Lost Souls. They're reasonably similar. I want to make one of those, and ideally be done before Halloween, but it could be that it will be a few weeks before I can actually start on it, because it kind of depends on all the projects I have going on. Technically, I could start it because I finished the summer shopper bag, but the summer shopper bag was like my 5th bib, And the fact is, I just tend to have a lot of VIPs, but I'm far from the biggest VIP person, because I know there are YouTubers out there that has like 20 plus VIPs, and I'm like, how to keep track of them? I think, so I have many whips, or many, I tend to have 4 or 5 whips going on at the same time, because I like to be able to change between projects and yarn types and thickness and so on. So like, you know, to do something else, and also depending on the situation. But having much more than that, I guess I'm afraid of losing track, and I'm afraid of not finishing them up. But it could also change. Who knows? Yeah, that was a Fleur. Then I have the Firefly Sweater, I have my Aikor scarf, and I have the Thoughts of Ireland shawl. And the Firefly Sweater is my Wednesday morning tea sweater, so to say, because I am working on that during my Wednesday mornings for my Wednesday morning tea lives. And since last time, I actually finished the back panels. So I have 2 panels finished. I still have this left of the skeins. I have more skeins laying upstairs. This yarn is the super soft. Sorry, not super soft, soft sensation from Lammy Yarns. It looks like a mohair or kid silk, but it is non-animal fibers, 76% acrylic. Could also be 74, by the way, somewhere between 74 and 76% acrylic, and the rest is polyamide, and it's like, it is super soft and it's fluffy. Very thin threads, but I'm holding them together with a 4.5mm crochet hook, and that results in these panels in these gorgeous colors. This, my friends, are the front panel. We'll need to block it before sewing it together, but this is the front panel. I definitely need blocking, or it's going to be tight. Or I need to lose some weight, I think. It feels right now like that. Should be able to, but that's the front panel. My back panel, and somehow I didn't think about when I sewed in the ends here, because it's better to keep a loose thread, because you can use that to sew in when you sew the 2 pieces together. This is the back panel. Basically, I inserted some stitch markers for like clearing for middle and ending points and so on. But this is the back panel. I need to, when I block them, because it is stretchy a bit, because I can stretch it a fair bit. So this needs blocking. And then I need to make sure it's blocked to the same width as the front panel. And what I need to do now, as a crocheter, is that I need to start on the sleeves. And that is something I'm going to investigate this weekend, so that I can get started on the sleeves and have a good idea of where these are heading before I'm back on Wednesday with my morning live, where we will crochet a bit together, and I will progress on this, because that is what I do Wednesday mornings. So far I have 2 pieces here, 2 panels, and we need to make some sleeves for it. We need to make 2 sleeves, long sleeves. I would like some sleeves that's a little bit loose in it, or at least gives room for a sweater underneath if you want to. So not too tight. And that's what I have to do and have to make with these, and then we will have to see where we end up once done. Sew them together. But yeah, I'm going to look into the pattern and see how they actually made the sleeves, and how can I adapt these sleeves to be what I personally want in a sweater like this. It's a design sweater wise where you need to sew a lot of pieces together, so I think I'd rather have a raglan style or a bottom down, where you already kind of extend for them and like working around. But this is so much different because you work sideways. So I've done double crochets back and forth for these pieces, and it will be sewn together on top and in the sides. And of course you have to sew the arms on. Yeah, But more importantly, I need to get into how I'm gonna make these arms. Are they worked in the round or are they like a long sleeve? I don't know. I will need to check out. I'm a bit unsure, to be honest, and that's because I haven't read the pattern that far yet, which is something I will have to do this weekend. So that is my job for this weekend, among other things, but that is one of my jobs this weekend. That was a Firefly Sweater, and what happened after the Firefly Sweater is that I had projects which I started on but also finished, just like I have with the Home Shopper bag. That's only been like a 3-week project in the end. 3.5. And I could do it much quicker. I think I could probably do it in a weekend if I wanted to. My project box with my Aikor scarf. The Aikor scarf is more marketed as a Christmas scarf because the designer here used the Hobby Universe Christmas yarn. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and I can tell you, I even made a copy of that scarf myself. It is upstairs and it has Christmas colors. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I made it last year because I needed a Christmas scarf for an event. And I'm going against this event this year in December, and I will probably have to bring that Christmas scarf. The only benefit now is I already made it. I don't have to make it. So last year I was still working on it in the car all the way down there. And I finished it there. I did not have the time to block it because obviously I'm not at home. I don't bring all my blocking mats with me. I blocked it when I got back home. I made a few shorts with it. I made 2 shorts where I was wearing it, I think. And yeah, a bunch of videos from last year. But I think the pattern itself was a really gorgeous pattern. It is a 6-row repeat. It's very simple. It requires you to know chains. It requires you to know single crochets, double crochets, and triple crochets. And can you do those? You can do this. It's so simple and easy. It is a paid pattern. It's a hobby pattern, or well, that's wrong. It's a pattern designed by K.A.M.E Crochet. She's a Hungarian designer. But she sells also her patterns on Hobby, and she collaborates with Hobby. She also has, I do believe, patterns on Ravelry and maybe even her own website. But I got this on Hobby because I could use my Hobby Plus subscription, and I got it as one of my monthly free patterns. And I still have it, obviously, from last year. And I had this yarn where I thought this would be perfect. I bought this yarn with the intention of a different kind of shawl, and that never came to be. And then I was like, this yarn is perfect for this, because look at it, it's Christmas trees. And as you can see, because from where it's more like yellow to green, this is what I've done since last. So I've done like 3 repeats, right? But if we go further to the bottom of it, we get closer to the brown. So we start with the brown, that goes more and more into green. And before we're done, we are into this very wonderful sort of olive green, forest green colors. And that seems fitting because, as said, this pattern sort of, in my eyes, reflects Christmas trees, right? Like, if you spread it out and look here, that's a Christmas tree. And the trunks are brown and the tops are green. So therefore, working it like this, starting from the brown end and working towards the green at the top, makes it perfect. So far, I can always already get a bit of a round. So I think it's also going to be longer than I would have thought or expected it to be. So I will have long blocking mat laying out for this one, because this has to get blocked. You can clearly see that when I'm holding it up. It does fold a little bit, and the fun thing is it's actually acting the same way, because it's kind of wavy. It acts the same way as how the Christmas scarf did back in the day. So I think that has to do with the stitches used. But even you, if I take it like this, can see it can stretch a bit. and also in the length. So yes, it has to get blocked because that is going to make it look so much better. And yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get another 3-4 rows of repeats done before next yarn talk. Everything depends on the mood, everything depends on other things, and this is also a project that I worked on in the car or behind the TV, depending on my mood. So, or sometimes if I can get a meeting where I don't need face cam on, I can also tend to crochet, because sometimes these meetings I just need to be present. That was the Aikor scarf. And the very last one that I'm working on, and I tend to keep these in project crates because it makes my life easier. Not all of my projects are in project crates, but some of them are. The Thoughts of Ireland is a drops pattern. I just need to make sure I put my hook in also. It's a 3.5mm hook. The yarn I used for the Aikor is the YarnArt Rosegarden. Gorgeous cake, gorgeous cake. I don't remember the color number, but there's only one looking like this from Rosegarden YarnArt. But yeah, the Thoughts of Ireland, I'm using a 3.25mm crochet hook. So we are talking about these fine yarns and these fine shawls. And I know there are some of you out there who's fascinated about me working with these thin yarns. I think it's about getting used to it, maybe. I never thought about it. And what I noticed is that us in Europe, I'm generalizing, no offense meant, but people here in Europe, we tend to work with thinner yarns compared to Americans, where Americans are more into the Aran weight yarns. Not saying we don't work in Aran weight yarns here in Europe either, but we just tend to be more fine, I guess. The yarn I'm using for the Thoughts of Ireland is, as I mentioned, the alpaca yarn from Drops. It's 100% alpaca. It does say mix, but that is more due to the coloring. As you can see, it is a green heathered with sort of hay yellows. And it's an all-time favorite. So the alpaca mix from Drops. It is their thinnest yarn category group. It is a 50-gram skein, and I had 5 of these when I started. 50 grams is 1.75 ounces to 167 meters, so 183 yards. And I said 100% alpaca. They recommend, I do believe it's 3mm needle, which I don't use. Didn't they? I thought they did. Yeah, 3mm needles. This is how it looks towards my finger. So yes, it is a thin yarn. Feeling it like here, it's quite soft for an alpaca. And I started on the second skein, so I finished the first and I'm starting on working on my second. I've now finished pattern or diagram pattern D, or not D, 4. So I've done 4 rows of diagrams so far, and I'm about to start on the 5th row of diagram. What I did is I've done a lot of basically double crochets, and then it's been lots of chains, and then it's been a double crochet or a single crochet depending on where in the pattern, and that kind of adds this sort of edging before preparing for the next bits of it. What I did was and I'm going to remove these actually, I did a bunch of stitch markers to keep track how far of the repeats I were, because I had to do X amount of repeats from here to here basically. And they helped me keeping track how many had I repeated. I've counted everything now, and it's exactly according to the pattern. Hallelujah. Which means I can remove these, because where I'm here, knowing that I'm exactly correct, the rest has to be correct as well. So I can remove those stitch markers, and then I can nicely progress on the pattern on the pattern chart 5 and work from there. Hallelujah. I do need to insert some stitch markers here, and that has to do with there are places where we still need to increase. So actually what I'm gonna do now, I think I'm gonna take these out now, because as we just concluded, I don't really need them anymore for this purpose at least. So I'm just taking them out of the shawl. If they want to. The last one was a bit tricky. So gone they are. Oh, I still need to sew in the beginning. I see. This is where we are at. And it's, as you can see, it's a nice white circular pattern. I do have this for the center, which I could probably still do actually up here. I think it's still good to know where the center is. I have a feeling that could still be useful. Move to center. Ta-ta. It's a nice pattern so far. It is now, when I'm laying it out, getting better, but I still think it needs a bit of blocking when we get there. Is my feeling, but that's going to be a lot of pins to block down, and I need to get some wool wash and so on, because it is an animal fiber yarn. Working up nicely, feels nice. Taking it stitch by stitch, basically. Yeah, and I'm pleased with the progress of that. And I think that's pretty much it, what we have it for now. What I have done is on Monday, I will launch my Bolero tutorial. The Bolero tutorial is one tutorial I made almost 2 years ago, so it is one of my very first tutorials. But I'm launching it where I'm flipping it, so it will be a left for left-handed crocheters. That will be out on Monday. On Wednesday I should hopefully be back with my morning tea live, unless something gets in the way. And Friday I'll be back with a new yarn talk video for you guys. I really hope you enjoyed the pletter haul I had earlier this week. I personally really enjoyed it myself. And if you aren't left-handed crocheter, it would still be nice if you gave the tutorial for the Barbara Bolero a watch. Let it run in the background. You might not want to do that exact design, but the idea of how it's made, I think is a good way, because what you can do with Barbara Bolero is you don't need the exact yarn I used. You can use any yarn and adapt that to your sizing, so it's made to measure for you, and I think that's pretty cool. And I have the right-handed version as well, so I will, of course, on the left I will link to the right-handed, and the right-handed I will make a link also to the left-handed video. I'm going to say, until I see you again, take care and happy crafting, and thank you for hanging out until now. And if you are watching this by now, thank you ever so much for your support. Feel free to comment down below if there are things you would like me to do or add to the channel. I am having a bunch of inspirations for things to record and make for content. But these are all things I will start working on when we get closer towards the end of my employment period. So yeah, in October, I have plenty of times to do tutorials and other content here on the channel. Take care. Until I see you again. Bye.